Hey, this is the first video that I'm making for the LPC journey. I'm Chantel. I am 25. I have started my LPC this week. LPC started this week. I'm working part-time as well, but I'm studying at the University of Law. I'm doing my LPC. I graduated from the University of Exeter in 2018, and since then I was working in I never know how to describe where I was working. They basically did digital transformation in local government, and that was my job for 3 years. I was a legal assistant, then I was a commercial associate, then I left as soon as I got my training contract, and I gave myself some time off. I went traveling. I went to New York, I went to Toronto by myself, solo travel gang. I recommend it very highly. I did that as a break so that I could take a break from working just to enjoy my time, because I don't know what this next year is gonna look like, and I want to make sure that I've given myself some time to rest mentally so that I can start up again. Starting with the LPC this week, let me talk a little bit about that. I went in University of Law, lovely campus on Store Street. I know the area very well. It was extremely intimidating. I didn't realize, so I'm not grown, but I'm like grown. So I went in and I didn't expect to have like the first day of school jitters, but I did. I sat in the lecture hall. I was nervous. Like, I sat there like looking around, new kid in school. I can't believe I even felt like this. Like, I'm an adult. Why am I getting nervous and shy to be in this environment? That's weird. But yeah, I got in there, I sat down, and I was just like, oh, here we go again.
Oh shit, here we go again.
Academia, let's go. And we sat in a lecture. The lecturer was just taking us through the course content, course structure. I'm doing the LPC with the LLM award. So LPC and a master's, which is just another elective subject that you do a bit of work on as a separate module in the second stage of the course. So didn't fall into law. I always wanted to be a lawyer. At A-level I studied film studies, history, English lit, and psychology. I really did go into uni thinking after 3 years I'd graduate and be a solicitor, which is not the case at all. Like, no, that is not what happens. I didn't know all of that was to come. So I went into my undergrad and I was kind of learning as I was talking to my peers who were a lot more prepared for these things, and like, people were keen to go networking. I'm an introvert. I hate networking. I don't like, no, I lie. I'm an introverted extrovert. So I can be extroverted. I have extrovert qualities, but really and truly, I love being at home. I'm a homebody massively, and talking to people, putting myself out there can drain me. Even though I do love people, being in new situations and new social situations can tire me out so much. So networking, that stuff was not my vibe at all. I avoided those events. I did not fight to go to those eat with Clifford Chance, hang out with Herbert Smith Freehills kind of things. I didn't bother. But then it came to second year and people started talking fact schemes, chaining contracts, and I was like, what's that? I don't know what any of that is.
Oh my God, what is that? Oh my God, what is that?
But obviously everybody's like, oh, I'm doing my applications, or I just spent 14 hours on this application, or I just did this, I just did that. And I was just sat there like, cool, I just binge watched the whole series. That was what I did with my evening, or I went out last night. So then, because of everybody else chattering about what they've been doing and the firms they've been applying to, I was like, my mentality was that I should probably be doing something. So I started applying to all these firms, and I will be honest, I lied in every one of my applications. Okay, not lying as in being, I wasn't lying in terms of being dishonest. I think it was dishonesty in terms of lying to myself. I would write to firms, I would do the applications, and then the question, why commercial law, would come up, and I'd sit there like, yeah, why commercial law? I don't want to do commercial law necessarily. Maybe in terms of the way I understand it now, I don't want to do it. So I'm so interested in mergers and acquisitions and sorting out relationships between different businesses. I was lying from the skin of my teeth. I was lying. And I'm very glad that the firms saw through it. You know what? to the recruitment teams, and I'm glad you saw through my lies, because I feel like if I was taken on in any of those roles, I would have been so miserable, because it's not what I want, and I don't want to work in that environment. Not because the people are bad, it's just not my passion. So it got to the end of second year, rejection, and then third year came and I was like, oh, I should probably be a bit more serious now. Went to a legal careers fair, and what I found at my university was a lot of the firms that visited were those big commercial firms, because they're interested in taking students from my university. So I didn't really get to see many firms that had the values that I was after, or were doing, specialised in the areas of work that I was interested in, or allowed for those opportunities to learn different areas of law that weren't necessarily just corporate and commercial. So I did find maybe one or two, and specifically one was like the government legal services. I think Bevan Britton might have been there. And once it was the government legal services. Once I spoke to the man who was running that stand, and he explained to me what the work was, I was just like, okay, cool. Like, I've spoken to 10 other people today. All of them have just been like, yeah, commercial law. This is the first person that's told me I don't have to do commercial law and I can do something else. So I went from being really deflated in that careers fair to being like, cool, this is something I can look into and I can research. I found a couple of firms I was interested in. List was quite long back in the day, and what I was willing to do was quite far and wide. Careers fair. Third year, that's when I started applying a bit more seriously for training contracts, and I found kind of the core firms I was interested in. So Lee Day, Bevan Britton, what else? Bates Wells, Hodge Jones Allen, Irwin Mitchell. Irwin Mitchell for me was like, it was creme de la creme. Like in third year, I was like, I will die to go to this. I will kill or be killed to go to this firm. And that's because that was the one firm I spent my time researching, and I really spent so much effort researching that firm. And then there were other firms that I grew to have that same I want to work there, and the list was probably over 20, 30 for me at the start, because mentally I was like, you don't put your eggs in one basket, put your eggs in all the baskets. So I was that person that was applying everywhere, but all my applications would just come back. Unfortunately, we're sorry, no feedback. I never got past application stage for most of these places, and it was honestly heartbreaking. And for me, I think one thing I learned about myself over that time is that I am resilient. I'm so resilient. I was like, cool, I've been knocked down, I'm getting back up again. Following year, I applied again, didn't get through any. Following year, I applied again, didn't get any. Cool. It's the fourth year. No, it's not. Maybe 4. Let's just say 4. 4 application cycles later, I'm sorry, I'm really computing up here. 4 application cycles later, I was like, okay, I'm taking this seriously. Dead seriously. And I was quite arrogant during my training contract journey, in that I was just like, I can do this myself. I don't need help from anyone. I can do this myself. I learned very quickly that I can't. I've always been relatively smart and capable, so it was kind of one of those things where I was like, I've always been good at getting jobs. I'll get, as long as I can get past to an interview, if I'm sitting across someone for a job, most times I'll get it, because I don't know, I'm not to big myself up, but a little bit, I'm very good at interviews. The issue I was having was I didn't even get into the room. I couldn't even get past Watson Glaces, situational judgment tests. They were not for me, and that's because I didn't take initiative to learn those tests. I was just like, this is a logical critical reasoning test, right? I can do that. I'm logical. I've got critical reasoning. No, you have to learn. So I learned, and that 1 year where I was just like, gloves are off, I put my all into my applications. The research I did was extensive. The amount of people I asked for help, so much. I was relentless, and I was to the point where I was like, you know what? I'm leaving my dignity at the door. Everybody's getting an email from me. My mom, my brother, my friends of friends, my mom's friends, my brother's friends, everyone, even a YouTuber, anyone that was offering, even if they weren't offering, they were getting an email from me. So, wow, this was a long story. All of that to say, it took me a very long time to kind of buckle down and to understand that it wasn't, a training contract wasn't just gonna come. Like, I would have to put the work in. As much as I'm good with words, as much as I can talk, I can write, there was a formula to it. And there was very much planning and research that had to go into it, and even building my understanding. And this all builds to the fact that eventually I got my training contract at a firm that I genuinely wanted to be working at. This firm was, when I was talking about Owen Mitchell, this firm was neck and neck. Honestly, those two firms, I remember seeing the first rejection I got from that firm, and I didn't cry, but I got such a like, it hit me. Like all the other ones from like the big law firms, I was just like, I didn't want to work there anyway, and I genuinely meant it. I was just like, boo, what a shame. These Urban Mitchell and the other firm, when I got the rejections, so close to tears. But it was one of those ones where the reason I didn't get it was because I didn't put the work in, and I didn't humble myself enough to know that sometimes you need help, and sometimes you need to ask people that have got there, or even I asked people from different streams of life, even non-lawyers, to help me. And it showed me, the lesson I learned and all that was that it's never a bad thing to ask for help. It doesn't mean you're weak, it doesn't mean you're not good enough. If anything, it means that you're strong, and it means that you understand that you can't do everything in life by yourself, and you need people. That was number one for me. You need people. That was my training contract journey. I don't know how we got to that. This is 20 minutes. All that to say, I started my LPC this week. What do I want to do with these videos? I want to track the LPC journey, and because no journey's the same. So I'm making these videos, and I don't know if I'm going to post them. I might not, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But for now, it is just for the sake of nostalgia, because I'm super nostalgic, and also I like to see the progression of things over time. So this is what we're going to do. So,
Forgot to film an outro. Okay, bye.